Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up. You're really going to enjoy a special guest here. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center, right there at the corner of Highway 77 and Baldwin Road. The principal there is Mike Heppenstall, big outdoorsman himself. He loves to fish, and a lot of those guys and ladies that work there love the outdoors. So stop by there and visit with them and see if you need to take any of those classes, anything for your vocation, okay? The high today, again, last week highs were up in the 80s, like 88 and 89. Now we're hitting back in the 90s. But the greatest thing that really bothers everybody, again, is that humidity. So humidity has been like 70% in most cases. So it's really going to be a hot and humid July day. Again, watch out for these thunderstorms. They've been coming in the afternoon. The other day, one came just right there, right before dark. But they popped in. The big thing is watch out for that lightning. We're all outdoorsmen, and we all do a lot of outdoor stuff. And just when you see those storms coming, get out and get some shelter somewhere. Get out from the outdoors, all right? The low is 77, and the water temperature now is hitting at 87 degrees. That's pretty warm, folks. 87 degrees in the Gulf. So that's a lot of activity going on. Our tide, the high tide this morning at 3:45, and the low tide is at 2:35, and we'll get those tide charts to you soon. A lot of y'all been asking about them. I planned on calling Captain Blair Morgan from Blue Water Outriggers, and I can't get a hold of Blair. I don't know where he might be up at Tate's Hill up at his hunting camp, so might be doing some planning and all up there. So I'll get a hold of Blair next day or two, and we'll give you all a report from what's going on down in the eastern viewing area. Okay, that takes care of this section. Let's go ahead and take our first break. We'll be back with our special guest.
Your vision is precious. If an emergency arises, you don't want to be sitting in a hospital waiting room. Accidents and injuries can happen outside of your workday. That's why our team of physicians provide emergency eye care to our patients anytime, day or night. You can count on your local experts in eye care to be there for you whenever you need us. The Eye Center of North Florida.
9 doctors, 1 vision, yours.
Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team. Beat the rush and stock up on our team shirts and hats in a wide variety of colors and sizes. For your convenience, we offer a Panhandle Outdoors shop at panhandleoutdoors.net. Simply visit our website and click shop.
You can also check out our selection at Sunjammers Water Sports on Panama City Beach. Come join the Panhandle Outdoors team.
At Panhandle Educators, we offer full-service banking.
We're 5-star rated.
A safe place for your money.
Find us anytime, anywhere.
Or come see us on Highway 77 north of the mall.
On the east side, across from Rutherford High School.
Come see us at the beach on R. Jackson Boulevard.
We're here in Southport on Highway 77.
Live or work in Bay, Holmes, Jackson, or Washington County? You can be a member.
Join us. We'll take care of you.
We are so lucky to live in North Florida. We have some of the best fresh and saltwater fishing in the world. My biggest problem is not catching fish, but trying to decide what kind of fish I want to catch. No matter what I'm after, I always stop at Sunjammers Water Sports first. They have just what I need: rods and reels, line, tackle, and most important, live bait. Yes, sir, we sure are lucky.
Welcome back, and some of you may recognize this young man, Captain Jeff Gager.
Hey, Winston, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
Man, glad to have you.
Thank you.
Jeff, a lot of y'all, maybe y'all saw him in his uniform with FWC. He was with FWC for a long time, almost 25 years.
25 years. I retired in March 31st of this year, Winston. Just finally it was time for me to go.
It just don't look like you old enough to retire.
Well, people tell me that all the time. They say, oh, you retired, what are you doing? Well, I'm just moving on to something else.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to retire. I just was ready to move on.
Well, you're still on the water. It's Captain Jeff Gager, and you still have a little charter business.
Yes, still have a little charter business at J&J Charters, and I go out and try to bottom fish mainly is what people want to do, Winston. People that don't have the the big parties, you know, that don't want to go out with the, you know, the Billy Archers and the Burl Rathfields of the world, you know, they go with me, and we get there in a hurry, and we usually catch some fish. We just have a good time, and it's a you know, inexpensive trip.
And that's a good niche for that too. The people are like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're not here to talk a lot about fishing. We're going to talk about some of your experiences, and you've written a book.
Yeah, I wrote a book, which I guess I'm kind of like you. I mean, we just kind of good old boys, I think.
What
you
made
know, yeah. Well, you know, I like to tell stories and talk, and for years we have get-togethers, and I'd tell a few of these stories, and people would act like they were enjoying them, you know, and so you know, after I got a book full of these things over the course of the 25 years, I would, if I had an arrest or thing that happened that had a funny twist to it, something somebody said, maybe they hid some fish or something, I'd just take a one line and jot it down so I could remember it. And finally, someone told me, they said, you know, you need to go ahead and write a book. Well, there you go.
Wrote a book. Here it is right here, folks. Yeah. Working on the Wild Side, humorous true stories, and from the Florida Game Warden. These anecdotes, these stories here, Officer Jeff Gager, there he's in the book right there on the boat in the jetties. And Jeff, I read this book, you know, Sunday afternoon. I went by his house the other day, got the book, and Sunday afternoon a big old storm came in, and boy, it was a perfect afternoon to read a book.
Yeah.
And I sat down and started reading that, and I started laughing out loud some of them because I could just picture these guys. Yeah. I could just picture these stories. And so anyway, we're here to talk about it. And it's, first of all, tell the folks a little bit about your background. Everybody always wants to know, you know, where do you come from? How do you grow up and all? You always have all of us have some kind of outdoors in our background.
Yeah, well, I've got a story now. First thing, Winston, you wouldn't believe it. You know, of course, you and me sitting here talking with our accents. If I told people I was born in Niagara Falls, New York, they wouldn't believe it, no. You know. But my dad was a military man, West Point, you know, and so after being born in New York, we immediately transferred to Nuremberg, Germany, and that's where my sister was born. And then after we came back from Nuremberg, we moved all around the South. We lived everywhere from Huntsville, Alabama to Knoxville, Tennessee, you know, and my dad was with the Corps of Engineers, you know, building dams with the, you know, the Army and everything. And, you know, we finally settled here in the Panhandle of Florida, and
well, when you got here, you were also in Gainesville a while, because I remember you said your granddad had the paper.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot to say that, Winston. My granddad, he owned the Gainesville Sun, and for you know, many years, and then he sold it and he moved to Crystal River.
Yeah.
And that's where I really got my, you know, love for fishing. My dad and I would go down there every week, and you know, we'd go out in the Gulf there and catch fish. And
back in those days, Crystal River had been a special place. It was real clear.
Winston, it's changed. It's just not like it used to be. Unfortunately, they say that with all the, you know, I mean, I think Tampa's even drawing water from the spring there at Crystal River, and so now the spring's not pumping the right amount of water, and so the water's not clear like it used to be, and it's just not the same.
I know y'all did some great fishing there. I know, ironically, when I was a student down there, I delivered papers. I delivered the Gainesville Sun, so that was a good paper, good solid paper. So a neat place. And you, now, where did you graduate from?
Well, you know, like I say, I moved. But I graduated from high school, from Gulf Breeze High School, right outside Pensacola.
Okay.
And then I went to Pensacola Junior College for 2 years, played basketball over there. And then after that, I was in retail management for several years. But Winston, I knew at that time I really wasn't in the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, I knew my background. When I was young, living in Nuremberg, Germany, my mother, they told me every single day took me to the zoo.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's where it started. And then all through the years, you know, my dad would take me fishing, my grandmother would take me fishing, and then moving to Crystal River would take me fishing. I just knew that retail management was probably not the thing to do. And one day I was just sitting there, and I had a real good friend who was actually the major over there in Pensacola at the time. And he was a good friend of mine, and we got to talking, and he said, well, I'll tell you the pros and cons. He said, you know, there's goods and bads to everything, you know, and he told it to me. But after listening to him, I said, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to try to make a little difference if I can in the lives of these young people. Make sure that well, I've had a couple of pictures here of my son. That, that's kind of why I I want them to have the same opportunities that I had, and I knew that I couldn't change the world, but if I could just make a little difference and kind of enjoy what I was doing along the way, that would be great.
And that's when you headed to the FWC.
Yeah, that's when I headed toward the FWC,
okay.
and I was right up my alley.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll come back with some of these stories. We'll be right back.
Panama City Beach is known as one of the top dive destinations in Florida. Divers Den offers daily dive charters that can accommodate up to 13 divers. Our boat captain is U.S. Coast Guard certified and a PADI dive instructor. We have trained professionals who offer a variety of scuba certifications. Come see us at our 2 locations on Thomas Drive and Tyndall Parkway.
When you're looking for sales, parts, and service for your outboard, all in one location, you're looking for BJ's Marine. You're authorized Tohatsu and Nissan dealer. BJ's Marine does it all. They have outboard parts and a service center and used motor sales too. Tohatsu, reliable, dependable, fuel efficient, and lightweight. Tohatsu Outboards, technology for the next generation. BJ's Marine, 1317 Transmitter Road since 1991.
AMW Trailers, Austin Machine Work, trailer repair of all kinds.
Folks, you always need to check your wiring. This is a great place to get it done, right here.
Trailers of all sizes. Folks, check out this all aluminum trailer. That's what they specialize in over here at AMW. You get one of these, you won't need to get another one. Going down in a big, blue, beautiful building in downtown Millville. Get you one of those new aluminum trailers and get yours fixed right here at AMW Trailers.
If you stop by Blue Water Outriggers, you will find everything for your outdoor adventure. Stock up on all your favorite brands and shop for some of the latest outdoor gear and accessories. You can also shop online and have your orders delivered straight to your home. Our flagship store is nestled right off of Highway 98 in the Port City Shopping Center, just steps away from the Port St. Joe Marina. You will love our selection, our prices, and our friendly service.
Okay, welcome back. So here with Captain Jeff Gager has written a book. It's called Working on the Wild Side, not Walking on the Wild Side, but Working on the Wild Side. But let's show a couple of pictures real quick. You had one son here, and of course he's about grown now. But what about right here? You still,
well, you know, Winston, I couldn't find any pictures of me when I was little. I think my mother's got them all. So what I did, I just got a couple of him, and you know, again, this is one reason why that I wanted to do the wildlife job. You know, I wanted to make sure that youngins like this, you know, had an opportunity to experience the wildlife like we did and enjoy it. And then his old Jonathan, he a couple of redfish. And
I bet he loves fishing now, doesn't he?
He does. And then that stringer little old brim, I think Winston, I think that might have been a red Holland trip. You know, he likes to catch those ones that are about that length.
I understand that. Don't take it offense, Red. Yeah. He watch sometimes. Get back to the book. You know, this is a well-written book, but what gets me, all the stories are true.
They're true.
And if you got somebody maybe in another part of the country to read these, they probably wouldn't believe it. But I think here in the Panhandle, we can believe these.
We can believe those.
And you sort of have it in three parts.
Right.
And some of these, it's a short stories, a bunch of short stories. Some are like a page or two, some 3 or 4, but there's a lot of little short stories. So you can read it and pick it up and read it again and all. But I was trying last night, I was going through and trying to pick out some of my favorite stories to talk about. And it's hard to pick out a favorite one. It really is. But you start off up there at the Steam Plant Canal.
Yeah.
And we all know about the Steam Plant Canal because of the warm water. We all know the background to it. But how you guys would hide in the bushes and all that, and these people be 10 feet from you talking about the game wardens.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, I had one, Winston, like you said, where you know, we were up one night, an officer I was working with, and we were in plain clothes, and we were just waiting for people to do something, and everybody was doing good that night. Mm-hmm. And eventually they all left, and it started getting dark, and you know how the sand gnats start moving in, and that ruins it for me in a hurry. You know,
it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, and I was just about ready to leave when all of a sudden we saw a boat easing up, and you know, they had a trolling motor going, and the sun was fixing to go down, and at this particular time of the year, you can catch the fish, but you can't keep them.
Right.
And like I say, the sand that's so bad that the skin's so soft, you roll it on, it wouldn't even work, you know. And so my keen police mind, as I like to say it, you know, kind of said to myself, why in the world are these folks coming at this particular time of the night, easing in here with a trolling motor? So we kind of loaded up our stuff, acted like we were leaving, and we went around the other side of the canal that a lot of people don't know you can get to. And we managed to get, like you said, from here to that camera up there, 15 feet from these people. And we could hear them, but boy, they were catching fish, and they were, I can't repeat what they were saying. They were cursing up a storm, and it was two guys and a woman, and the woman was the worst one. And but they were telling, well, if this stupid game warden comes up here, you know, we'll just throw him over the side, or he's so dumb, we'll just put him up in a bucket up there in front of the, you know, and we were sitting there trying to not laugh, you know, hearing all this going on, and it was cold, Winston. At the time, I had on my big black snowmobile bunny suit, as we called them, you know, and I've got myself down now to where I'm about 245 now, but back then I weighed about 285, and I was pretty good sized boy with that bunny suit. I looked like, you know,
a Sasquatch.
Oh man. Well, anyway, we watched them, you know, catch enough that we needed to go ahead and do something, and so we radioed a boat. We told them, you know, where they were and come on up. And so the boat started making it up the canal and got within 20 feet of them before they realized the boat was there. And boy, Winston, if you could have seen that, they stood up, they looked like the Three Stooges. They were banging into each other, they were throwing fish, they were whatever. Well, of course, some of them were dead, you know, and the guy in the boat reached out and just netted some of them up. Well, I came walking out on the bank in that snowmobile suit. They you know, I thought they were going to just pass out. But anyway, we handled the situation. But let me tell you, the funniest thing was, after we got done with all the paperwork with the arrest and everything and all, the one boy, he kept saying, well, man, can't y'all give me a break? He said, this is the first time from Alabama. This is the first time I've ever been up here. I don't know the rules and everything. Winston, that channel to get in there is hard to get into, even in the daytime. He gets in the boat after they finish. It's pitch black dark. Takes off and navigates that channel perfectly. So obviously it wasn't his first rodeo.
He'd been there before.
He'd been there before.
I know that's, you know, there's so many stories in there like that and all, and I can just relate moon bass.
Moon bass.
The moon bass story. Well, real quick on the moon bass story, folks, you ever heard of a moon bass?
Well, I never heard of a moon bass either, to be honest with you, Winston. We just had a nice gentleman one day. He was fishing and. Just a routine check. Just asked him, came up and said, sir, you catching anything? And he was in an area where, you know, we've been catching little groupers and little things like that. And he said, yes, sir. And I said, well, do you mind if I look at them? And he said, well, I'm sitting on them. He's had a bucket he was sitting on. And I said, well, if you don't mind, let me take a peek at them. And he stood up. And of course, there was about 15 or 20 little old grouper in there that weren't even close. And, and I said, sir, I said, you know, you know what these are? Yes, sir, that's moon bass. Yeah, that was my first experience with a moon bass. But unfortunately, I had to tell him they weren't moon bass, you know, and he just had a few too many, you know. I did note to the judge that he was a nice gentleman and he was very polite and courteous and everything. But I still had to do my job. That's how I tried to do my job, Winston. I tried to do it with decency and courtesy, even when someone made a mistake, and unless they just made me, you know, I tried to treat people just like I'd like to be treated.
Exactly, and the whole themes of all these stories, that you can read that through the lines and all. You know, y'all are all being fair, and you're being fair to them and all. And most people are very responsive, but every now and then some of them act ugly and all.
Every now and again, you know, you got that 10% that just ruins it for everybody, and no matter how much you try to be nice, they're going to, but by and large, if you treat people like you like to be treated and just let them get a little frustration out in the beginning, it all works out.
That's right. All right, look, we're going to take our last break. We've got some more funny stories with this book. We'll be right back.
on the water, or under the water. Success starts at C&G Sporting Goods. C&G specializes in fresh and saltwater fishing tackle, floundering supplies, spearfishing equipment, and much, much more. C&G also has licenses, maps, and expert advice on where to go. For over 59 years, C&G Sporting Goods has been the headquarters for the outdoors man. Fishing, hunting, camping, guns, and ammo. They've got it all. C&G, home of the experts, downtown Panama City. Sunrise to sunset. A walk through nature takes you on a journey of Florida's Emerald Coast. You'll encounter the wildlife, birds, lighthouses, indigenous to the beautiful land and seascapes of Florida. Set to the sounds of nature and enhanced with easy listening music. Only $14.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling. NatureWalkDVD.com or send check or money order to the address on the screen. A walk through nature. Visually stunning.
My name's Captain Rick Corley. I'm a SAMS accredited Marine Surveyor, NAMS certified Marine Surveyor, and IAME certified Marine Investigator. Been surveying since 1969. Was taught by my father, who is the oldest, longest practicing Marine Surveyor in the world. We do all types of survey, commercial or pleasure. Steel, aluminum, fiberglass, wood, makes no difference. Give us a call at 850-527-5287 or visit us online. We'd appreciate your visits.
Are you still waiting to do something with your IRA, 401k, annuities, or other investments?
My dad has an economics degree from Vanderbilt University, and he helped me with my homework. A lot of people call themselves financial planners, but my dad passed a board exam to be a certified financial planner. He's very easy to talk to, and he spends a lot of time with me.
To my existing clients, thank you for your friendship and loyalty through these uncertain times, and to everyone else, don't wait until it's too late. Call me today, and let's see if I can help.
All right, welcome back, folks. Sitting here with Captain Jeff Gager, author of Working on the Wild Side, and this book is out. We're going to tell you about where you can get it. But first, let's look at Express Lane Fishing Game Forecast today. Our fishing times we're looking at this morning, 6:34 to 8:34. Excellent morning time, and this evening, later this evening, from 7:01 to 9:01. That's brought to us by Express Lane Stores, American-owned and American-operated. We appreciate their sponsorship. Jeff, let's tell folks right now what we're thinking of where they can get this book. It just came out, so
right.
Where can we get it?
It just came out locally right now. The Tom Putnam at Half Hitch Tackle, very gracious. He's going to put them in his main store and his two peer stores. Okay. Ricky, the Howell Tackle, you know, just as good as gold. I tell you, he sure turned that place around. Yeah. You know, and Ricky's going to let me put some in there, and actually, hopefully, I'm going to do a book signing there down the road. I'll try to let you know. And Ray down there at C&G, same way, just as good as he can be. Just said bring some in here. And then if you just want to get one from the house, Winston, it's GameWardenStories.com.
Game Warden Stories.
GameWardenStories.com, and then I think it's also on Amazon too. But
yeah, well, going by Game Warden Stories, when we go through Amazon, they get all the money and all. Yeah. I tell you,
they're proud of it.
Yeah, they are. But I tell you what, I read it. It's a really enjoyable book. It's well written. And not just buy one for yourself, buy a couple for presents and all. You know, Christmas is right around the corner. Buy some of these for Christmas. I'm going to get some more of these for Christmas presents.
Isn't that amazing, Winston, that Christmas is just, are we just getting that old, or is what is going on with the time?
I don't know. I don't even, you know, it's amazing. It is amazing. Okay, now some more quick stories on here. With that first part, a lot of fishing stuff, but then you had to do the section on deer decoys. Oh. And this we could spend 3 shows on.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna go with the whole because it's just the chapter is funny. Yeah, it's just absolutely hilarious when someone comes up and they shoot a deer and they know they hit it with a high-powered rifle from a very short distance, and that thing's still standing there. And then, you know, they shoot it again, and it's still standing there. The look on their face is just, you have to be there to, you know, and yeah, I could sit here and have way more time than we've got.
It was innovative, too. Really, it was sort of developed up in this area. It was just sitting out of fake deer. And how you talked about the evolution of it.
Actually, the officer up here, Lane Kinney, you know, from up in Chipley, really and truly, as far as I'm concerned, Winston, he was one that started that thing. And it was pretty neat how he did it. He
real rudimentary.
Rudimentary. When he started out, Winston, I think it was just a foam target that he kind of put some horns on, whatever, you know, and it worked in the beginning. Of course, people started catching on to it, and then he had to
Then it started moving their tail.
Moving the tail.
Then next thing you knew, the ears would move, and then the head would move. It's an evolution of it.
Evolution.
But what I liked about it too, the judge, y'all talked to the judge because they were blowing these things to smithereens,
That's
and
right.
all that motor and everything was costing. So then part of their punishment, they had to replace it.
Replace it. Yeah.
So that was good.
That was good because those things, Winston, I believe like $1,500, you know, and so yeah, that was part of the fine.
Yeah, that was funny, but there were so many stories in there about decoy. And I know one. I had a friend of mine that caught one time. He was a school teacher, and but they get that mentality, and when they see that deer, you know that.
Oh yeah.
They just can't get over it.
Oh, I know. Well, it's like the old boy that he got so set on it, got out of his truck, he was stalking that thing with a knife.
With a knife.
And I think Lane and his partner just couldn't believe it, And
he was like zigzag.
He was kind of zigzagging. He was coming up on that deer, and then he got good. He came up, started, and turned out, I believe the guy was a cook in the local restaurant or something like that, And they were kind of worried about, arresting him because they might have something. We could just go on to that chapter right there. If you can read that deer decoy story and not crack a smile, I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's funny. And then we'll get down around the oystering in Apalachicola Bay and all. And most of those guys are good, hard-working guys. But every now and then they'll try to. Every now and then, sometimes something happens. But
yeah, well, the one real quick funny story I had let me tell you something. Some of those oystermen, Winston, they're strong.
Yeah,
they're strong. I mean, these guys, that's hard work. It's not, And there was one guy in particular down there that he was a huge. They said he could just pick up a 225 horsepower motor and just pick it like it was nothing. And one day, one of our officers came up and started picking at him a little bit, just joking with him. He used to kid with him and started saying, when are some of those oysters for me? When are some of those for me? You could tell he was getting a little irritated. It was hot and everything. And he must have said it one too many times. And this guy reached out and just kind of snatched him like this with one hand and picked him up, held him out over the water, and he's dangling out there, and he's got his gun belt. As wondering how he's going to explain to the captain why he got dropped in the water. And finally, in a squeaky voice, he kind of convinced this guy, said, I won't say it anymore. If you put him back down. But I mean, these guys are hard-working people.
And these fishermen, with good stories on there. And then at nighttime, it's a cat and mouse game when these fishermen at nighttime. It's cat and mouse.
It's cat and mouse. You hide and you're playing a game, and sometimes they win and sometimes we win, and I've got several stories in there about those cat and mouse games.
And toward the end of the book, you have just a really heartwarming story about this little girl and all about, go back and get her dad. And that's really heartwarming. We won't get into all the details about it. We're about to run out of time, but it is just a book well worth reading. It's true story, and Jeff, you did a great job on it.
Winston, I appreciate that. I never thought I'd be an author, but I really appreciate you coming. Let me come on the show today. And
well, it takes a little more time than you think, don't it?
Let me tell you, if anybody thinks all you do is just go down and slap a few things on the page and write a book, they need to do it one time. It's a lot more to it, as you well know.
Okay, here it is, folks. Working on the wild side by C&G, Howell Tackle, a half-inch tackle. Run by and pick it up, and Jeff's going to book signing later, and we'll tell you about it.
Winston, thank you very much again. I appreciate it.
Jeff Gage, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Folks, we appreciate you watching the show. Now, you have a great day today and do something good for somebody, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.